Along with this update, I'd like to do a complete rundown of all the manufacturer components used to build the 70 Nova. We'll start back here with the Tanks Inc. fuel tank. That also has a built-in fuel pump, and it has the newer style single unit sending unit. There's the wires that go eventually to the front of the car for the fuel pump and sending unit. Back here we got the Wilwood Dynalite 4-piston calipers and rotors. We have the Ridetech coilovers, the Quick Performance 9-inch with 389 gears, and I believe it's 35 spline axles here. I also have the Ridetech 4-link cradle welded into the car. Let's try to get a better shot here. That's all welded in. Philip and I semi-adjusted it. We're square with the car. We got our pinion angles at about 3.5 degrees each. There's my Driveline Specialties drive shaft. We got a 1350 yoke on the back here. That's a billet yoke. We got the Red Horse 10 micron fuel filter. You didn't see this in the last video, but these are my fuel lines, my feed and return. So I'm going NICOP off the tank here, solid lines we pre-bent, and then we're going -6 AN fittings, soft lines, down around, one to the fuel pump. This is the feed, of course, and then we got the fuel line here, NICOP 3/8. We have these custom billet tube clamps that Philip made, and we got the feed and return lines running all the way to the front of the car. Here's a little trick one that mounts to the bottom of the floor, and these hold the fuel lines nice and snug. So let me see if I can take you around and show you where we run them up to the car. Let's go here. Sorry for the bad camera angles, but I'm doing this to try to help you in case you guys ever have to do this. But there's the fuel lines going up, and you'll see once we're topside how we have them routed. So we have our beautiful Hughes Performance 4L80E transmission, electronically controlled with the US shift Quick 4. You can see the back of the one wiring harness right there. We have the G-Force 4L80E crossmember. This is 4.5 inches longer than your Turbo 400 crossmember. We also have our Total Flow straight through mufflers. This exhaust is temporary. This is 3-inch 409 stainless. It's just temporary for us to get the car shaken down, somewhat tuned. Philip and I are going to build a legit X-pipe here and true exhaust. I'm not going full exhaust. I really like how it just dumps out here in front of the back tire. It works for me. We have our Ridetech subframe connectors right here. There's the rear pocket connected to the frame. You saw this in the last update. What else underneath? It's going to be hard shot, but we have all our grounds done. Our starter wire and grounds here. Starter's grounded, and this is all 1/0 big thick braided cable. Single strand cable, sorry. Got our transmission cooling lines running from this tight, let's see if I can get you here. That's the dipstick tube. Back up, there you go, back up in there. And they're -6 AN fittings as well. Our Hughes Performance 11-inch 3000 stall converter with their bulletproof flex plate. Up front we got our Ridetech 2-inch drop spindles with the Dyna Pro Wilwood brake kit 6-piston. We got our Ridetech control arms, upper and lower, and the Ridetech sway bar. Getting blown out here a little bit, sorry about that. There's the sway bar, there's our coilovers. That's all Ridetech. And I know I mentioned this 100 times. I got Torq thrust 2s, 18x11s on the rear, 18x7s up front, two 25-45s, in the front and 315/40s in the rear. There's the lower CVF drive crank pulley. That's the 8-rib belt too. You'll get a better shot up front. I temporarily bolted the bumper and grill on just so I could do a shakedown run. So what else underneath before we go topside? 2-inch radiator hose. I bought one a little oversized and cut it down to fit. As you can see, I'm using the Gates Power Grip shrink clamps. I love those things. Anyway, I got started with some of my AC condenser lines right here, as you can see, right there. So I think that is a complete rundown from under the car. I'm really happy. Oh, brake lines, all leaks fixed, bled several times. I got my Hurst line lock right here. I'll explain how that operates here in a minute when we get up there, and that all runs up behind the wheel tub up front. We had to make some funky angles because these are mid-length Sanderson headers, and Philip and I spent a whole day making just these angles. So we have oil filter clearance. Turned out pretty nice. There's our O2 sensor, welded in O2 bung there. Here's this angle. This one's not as extreme as the driver's side. Worked out real well. I really like how the exhaust is sitting. I'm trying to get you good camera angles. Sorry about this, guys. Anyway, just a little excited about how the car came together. Got the Ridetech True Turn system on here, that's what's caused most of the problems why I couldn't go with a full-length header. Seemed to work out okay. So there we have the energy suspension motor mounts right there. And we also have the Ridetech body mounts here. Very nice. Their stuff is really nice, I gotta say. There's the rear one right there. So I do not have my e-brake cables installed yet. I don't want to do them until I get the exhaust that I want done. There's an exhaust hanger we custom made, one on each side. Okay, so there we go, underside. Let's back it up here. In the trunk, we have the Detroit Speed mini tub kit for the 70 Nova. Trunk has not been done yet, but it is all sealed, closed up, ready to be xylotoned. So here's the top side of the Tanks Inc. Fuel pump and fuel sending unit right here. You see we have it plumbed with AN fittings, hard lines, and a vent. And that's an access panel in the trunk. We have our auto electric, CE Auto Electric rear relocation, battery relocation kit. Two 200 amp Fosgate breakers right here. There's one, here's the other one. This feeds the front of the car, and then I have separate side post wires for the Holley Sniper down in here. You can't see it. And then we have a custom, I don't know what brand it is, battery tray. Looks pretty neat. That's a gift from Philip. Thank you, Philip. Anyway, I got grounds all over the place. I forgot to show you underneath, but I got a frame ground, chassis ground, grounds the frame, grounds the chassis. We'll come around. I'm going to have to get a light for the inside of the car, but we have the whole interior assembled. I'll get you some more light and show you more what's going on in here and what I got going on the dashboard. I want to mention right away, this puke tank is temporary. This is a Mattson, aka the Fan Man custom radiator. It is a single core, but it's a triple pass with an 1.5 inch cooling tube inside. 2 cooling fans. These are the highest quality SPAL fans. Very high flow. They are very powerful. Anyway, temporary puke tank. I do have a stainless one. As you can see, everything is connected. There is the transmission dipstick tube, that's a low car. We have the Holley HyperSpark with performance distributors, live wires. These are all shielded wires. There's the Sanderson headers and a Holley Sniper under that air cleaner. This is EFI, RFI blocking material we wrapped the wires with because we had an electronic interference issue. We have a CVF drive system, alternator, peanut AC pump, short big block water pump. This keeps the water pump lubricated through the manifold. Got the heater lines hooked up. The vintage air heater core works great. Here, let me swing around here. This is my distribution block from the rear of the car. Every single wire is Alex Tech coated. And this, I can't remember the company who makes this, but it's very nice. It has 5/16 posts, 4 of them. You could double stack if you have to. So over here I got, okay, here's the power steering reservoir right here, and this is CVF drive systems. This is the relay for the fans right here, and that is the CE Auto Electric hot start for the starter, fused, of course. All right, let's see. Here's our power steering lines. These are -6 AN and then a -10 return line off the reservoir right here, going down to the pump. And that's that alternator is a GM CS130 single wire. And I also have it shielded. You can see I have a ferroid ring around it so it doesn't create any interference. We have all of our brake lines up top bled, and here are the fuel lines up top. Hard lines up to here with the pressure gauge, and here's our return line right here. Nothing touches, everything is got space around it, so nothing can rub. Here is the CD box for the Holley Sniper, and I chose not to install the power steering, the windshield wiper motor and wipers. Instead, I decided to mount the HyperSpark coil on the back side of this polished plate that I made. And then, of course, I got my coil wire right there. we got low car throttle. I showed in a previous video the extension for the Holley Sniper. That's done. So like I said, I quickly just bolted the front end on just to do a shakedown run and get things adjusted and squared away. Right now I got the ride height 1 inch high in the rear. That's how the car sits. I'll post up some pictures of it sitting in the driveway so you can get a better look at how it's sitting. So this is all just temporarily bolted on just so we could drive it a little bit, get all the bugs worked out. So let's go to the inside of the car. I'll get some light and put some light in there, and then I'll show you what I got going on. Okay, I got my US Shift Quick 4 control module just kind of sitting right there. I'm going to mount it inside the glove box, but right now I'm monitoring the transmission. There's the Holley Sniper handheld screen right there. There's my AutoMeter dash, B&M Pro Stick shifter, Crow Performance lap belts. My shoulder harnesses are wrapped around the back of the seat right here, just temporarily, so because we've been in and out of the car 1,000 times. Let me go over to the dash and I'll explain what I have going on there. Okay, it's an AutoMeter direct fit dash with the carbon fiber gauges, ultralight carbon fiber gauges. That's my AC vent molded into the dash right here. And now right here this is my line lock switch with the red light. The orange light is when it's lit when my cooling fans are off, and the light goes out when the cooling fans turn on. And then that green light is my manual operation for the transmission. So basically with a push of a button here, just this button, one click, I have it set up to where I'm in complete manual mode where I have to shift it. It holds every gear you put it in. There's the vintage air control module right there, works great so far. My Speedo, which I'm having electrical interference issues with, I need to resolve. TAC works good though, looks good, easy to read, gauges are very easy to read while you're driving. I like the big numbers. Got a Grant GT steering wheel, compliments of Philip. Yes, horn works, I just don't have the batteries turned on. Let me explain the line lock. So the reason I have a switch and not a button, I have my line lock connected to where when that switch is on, it keeps fluid from going to the rear brakes. So I would hold the brakes and only the front ones work. And then as I come out of the burnout box, I turn the switch off and then I get brakes to the rear. So I set up that way on purpose. Here's a driver view right here. Let's go back to the motor. Okay, the engine specs. It's a Blueprint Engines 496 stroker. It dynoed at 656 horsepower, and it dynoed at 606 foot-pounds of torque at 4,500 RPM. It has a Holley Sniper 550/510. Basically big, it's similar to like a Holley 750 or 850 carburetor. And again, the Hyperspark distributor, Hyperspark plug-and-play system. Let's see, what else can I say? 185-degree thermostat. Here's another shot of the Mattson radiator, aka the Fan Man. He did a beautiful job on this radiator. He left me with a good inch clearance between the drive system and the fans. Notice I don't have a shroud. If I did have a shroud, the fans wouldn't fit. So we went that route. I did install the vintage air condenser right here, and custom drilled my, let's see, you can't see it. You can see it on this side. Core support for the AC lines coming through here. So what else? I guess there's nothing else to do but fire it up.